In the beginning of their galactic conquest, the Diamonds deployed an elite squadron of Amazonites into the furthest reaches of the galaxy in search of planets perfect for gem colonies. These solitary gems were fearless and fearsome and spent centuries alone among the stars in search of new worlds to report back to the homeworld. However, there was one Amazonite who spent a great deal of time not so much looking for planets to colonize as she did looking for planets with a variety of deadly challenges to test her mettle. On one such planet, Amazonite discovered that she may have met her match. The massive woolly creature threw up its long snake-like nose and let out a trumpetous blast before charging at her. Amazonite dug her heels into the ground and grabbed the beast by the tusk, doing little to stop its rampage. She strained against the beast as it shoved her further and further back toward the edge of the cliff she had let herself be cornered on. It was a dumb mistake, but she didn't have the time to dwell on it. With a guttural cry, Amazonite roared back in the creature's face and shoved her arms forward. The tusk groaned under the pressure of the two of them battling for dominance until she felt one of the tusks snap in half, throwing both her and the beast off balance. She fell forward, somersaulting beneath its massive legs and rolling out from underneath it and off to the side. The beast stomped and raged, shaking its furry head back and forth before swinging around and catching its good tusk on Amazonite. Hard. So hard that Amazonite heard an all too familiar poof sound before the world around her faded into darkness. The round teal-green stone lay on the ground, hidden beneath the woolly mammoth's broken tusk for centuries. The cliff eroded over time and she fell into the tumultuous waters below, carried into the dark abyss of the ocean. There, hidden by darkness and pressure and silt, she stayed. Until the day she was found. For the first time in countless centuries, Amazonite felt the sun on the surface of her gem and she remembered everything. She remembered her journey through space. She remembered her mission from the Diamonds. She remembered her fight that undid her. She remembered her name. The stone began to glow and rose into the air, tendrils of white light extending out into arms, legs, and a head with a long braid down one side and floppy bangs on the other. Amazonite reformed for the first time in 1,000,000 years, or what felt like it, and landed on the sand with a triumphant howl. "I'm back! I'm back!" Amazonite whooped and cheered and danced around in a delighted circle, grabbing the hands of the peach-colored gem who found her and danced around with her, both of them giggling, then laughing hysterically, until Amazonite dipped her unknown companion, and time froze. Hello," the other gem said, still giggling. "Hello," Amazonite said, standing them both upright. She took a step back to take a better look at this new person. She had orangey pink hair that was pulled into two looping braids that met in a braided crown on top of her head. Her big purple eyes were almost iridescent, like a pearl. But unlike a pearl, her figure was much larger and rounder, and she had two curved wings that radiated with colors Amazonite had never seen in a gem before. Well, no, that wasn't true. Amazonite had seen pearls in every single one of those colors, but never together, and as far as she knew, pearls didn't have wings. Hey, so this is going to sound really weird, but are you pearl of some kind? The gem blinked at her for a moment, then shook her head. No, I'm just a nacre. Nacre, Amazonite said slowly. I've never met a gem like you before. I've never even heard of a gem like you before. A gem? Nacre asked, cocking her head to one side. But I'm not a gem. It was Amazonite's turn to be confused. Not a gem? Well, look at you. You're brightly colored. You can talk. I mean, no, I've never heard of a nacre before, but that's because I'm too busy traveling The galaxy. I can't possibly know every single gem in existence. But I'm not a gem, Naker said pointedly. Sure you are, Amazonite laughed, taking Naker by the arm and twirling her around, searching her body for the telltale gem embedded in her light form. But there wasn't one. Not on her legs or shoulders, not under her armpits or the back of her head, not even between her wings. This gem had no gem. Hey, stop that, Naker huffed, flapping her stone wings so hard that she broke from Amazonite's grasp and flew backward several feet. I'm not a gem. I'm a shell. A shell? Yes, a shell, Naker said, flapping her wings for emphasis. Amazonite could see now how Naker's wings were large enough to envelop her. Her wings, Amazonite realized, were her gem. That's incredible! But if you're not a gem, then what are you? I mean, other than a shell. Like, are you a rock of some kind? Were you formed in the molten core like an igneous? Or are you a metamorphosis formed in the planet's crust by heat and pressure? No, you're a sedimentary rock because you formed at the bottom of the ocean. Oh, this is incredible. A sentient rock formation? I've never heard of such a thing. I mean, yes, technically gems are rocks, but our sentience is different. You are amazing. I'm not a rock either, Naker said, jumping back more. Her wings were folding closed around her, threatening to close entirely. No, wait, Amazonite gasped. I'm sorry. I've never seen anyone like you before, and you're just so beautiful. Naker's wings opened slightly, and she peered at Amazonite cautiously. I've never seen anyone like you before either. Really? Amazonite said, with a wide grin spreading across her face. Do you not have gems like me on this planet? There aren't even any other Naker on this planet, Naker said, sadness darkening her face as her shell started to close again. Amazonite placed a hand on the rough, gray outer shell of Naker's wings. There aren't others like you? Naker shook her head. I'm all alone. Amazonite held out her hand. Well, that's one thing we have in common then. I was all alone too. Until you found me. Naker clenched her hands together, but then slowly slid one hand into Amazonite's and let herself be pulled out of her shell. They smiled at each other, before Amazonite blushed and coughed and started shaking Naker's hand. I'm Amazonite, by the way, she laughed. I don't think I mentioned that. Naker giggled, her cheeks blushing as well. It's nice to meet you, Amazonite. They stood there with their hands clasped together for so long that it felt too awkward to let go. So, Amazonite began. You come here often? Naker blinked at her. I live here. Oh, well, yeah, I know. It was just... Hold on. Do you feel that? Naker asked, looking around them with a rising panic. Amazonite looked around as well, but didn't see anything. Feel what? As she spoke, the sky darkened as thick flocks of birds erupted from the trees along the shoreline. The ground beneath them began to shake violently, and Amazonite could see black smoke coming from a mountaintop not too far away. She watched it closely when lava spewed from its mouth and showered down, blowing chunks of rocks and hot ash in every direction. They barely had time to react when herds of quadrupedal animals sprang out from the underbrush and charged straight for them. Amazonite shoved Naker behind her and threw out her arm, instantly transforming it into a curved blade. Stay behind me! No, don't hurt them! Naker cried just as a massive beast from Amazonite's past barreled down on them. They're scared! The woolly mammoth, not the same one Amazonite had fought, but maybe a descendant, reared up on its hind legs and prepared to stomp. Amazonite readied her blade just as Naker closed her wings around them both. The woolly mammoth stomped into a sand dune before being pulled up into the air by two pure white arms that floated around a pure white hourglass torso. Two arms floated beneath them, both ending in long curved blades. The mammoth struggled against the hands holding it as they brought it up to the head that levitated where the neck should be. Four eyes that reflected the sky studied the now tiny mammoth, then studied the hands holding it. What is this? It can't be. Wait, how? What's going on? Before she could find any answers, another explosion rocked the earth and the mammoth squealed out of its trunk in protest. She nearly stumbled on one of her detached legs, but quickly steadied herself on the other. 4 arms? 2 legs? I don't understand what is happening. It's okay. How is this okay? Well, yeah, maybe okay isn't the right word. Then what is the right word? Another explosion sent a massive red-hot rock careening toward her, and a white wing folded in front of her, then batted the rock away and into the ocean. This is a fusion. The giant woman tucked the mammoth safely under one arm, then leapt toward the volcano as it threatened to erupt once more. With her 2-bladed arms, she sliced down on one side, releasing hundreds of thousands of metric tons of force outward and into the ocean and saving the island from the biggest explosion of all. She leapt back to the shore and set the mammoth down gently before her form began to split and Amazonite and Nacre were flung away from each other. Amazonite groaned and rolled onto her side. I am definitely not reporting that to Homeworld. She gasped suddenly and leapt to her feet, searching the shore between throngs of animals that had tried to escape into the ocean, until she finally found a familiar gray rock. Amazonite ran to it and gently placed a hand on the shell. Nacre, it's over. We did it! The shell cracked open and Amazonite peeked inside. She held out her hand and Nacre took it, letting herself be pulled from her shell. We saved the day, Amazonite said, clutching Nacre's hands in her own. But what happened? Oh, what was... Her! She! Us! Amazonite laughed and wrapped an arm around Nacre's shoulders. Wasn't she amazing? Nacre looked away, but she couldn't hide her smile. We were amazing. Yes, we were, Amazonite laughed. Now to give her a name. The mammoth came over to them and plopped down in the sand behind them. They leaned against it and watched as the sun set behind the volcano and as darkness gave way to moonlight. What about Moonstone? Nacre said, looking up at the pure white moon above them. I thought you said you weren't a stone, Amazonite teased. Nacre rolled her eyes. Well, you come up with something then. Amazonite smiled and pulled Nacre closer, letting her lay her head on her shoulder. Nah, I think Moonstone is perfect. Thanks again for joining me on another adventure through my brain as we explore the world of Steven Universe, this time creating Gemsonas. I actually recreated these gems based on designs that I had played around with using the Doll Divine's Gemsona generator, which I will link in the description below. If you guys are interested in this series, stay tuned because there are at least 3 more coming out. On the lineup we have My Hero Academia, DuckTales, and Gargoyles. So if you guys are invested in any of those shows like I am, then you're in for a treat. Alright guys, thanks for watching and I will see you next time. Bye! Hold on. Do you feel that? Nacre asked, looking around them with a rising panic. They barely had time to react when herds of quadrupedal The woolly mammoth stomped into a stand